You won't guess who I'm interviewing tonight. Yes, exactly. I have been waiting all season for this. But I'm so stressed, I don't know. Well, I must do it. It's been all leading up to it. I guess that's it. See you. Got to go. So, good afternoon, Mr. Vasiliou.
Good afternoon.
This is a very special episode because you are the final guest of our podcast. Most of the audience probably knows you, but it's good to have an introduction at the beginning. So, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. Myself, I'm a teacher. I've been through many different aspects of the of being a teacher. So I have been in primary school and secondary. I was also a head teacher in a school, and the last I would say 12 years, I'm responsible for the European projects of the Directorate of Primary Education of Western Thessaloniki. And since 2012-13, I'm also the president and founder of eduact, the Organization for Future Education. I have 2 kids. They are almost your age, so my son is 17 and my daughter turns 15. I have a beautiful wife. She's an archaeologist. That's it.
Right, awesome. As you told us, you are the president of the organization eduact, which, if I recall correctly, it is responsible for the first programs in Greece. Where did you see first for the first time?
Okay, that's great. Great question. I always like to recall what happened back then. Greece was deep into economic crisis since 2009, 2010. Things were starting to collapse. And at that point, I was blessed and in the same time cursed to travel a lot. And I would say blessed because I was traveling and I was looking at beautiful things that unfortunately couldn't be an actual project in Greece, mainly because of the economic crisis. And also the beginning of first programs in Greece is not a success, I would say, in the beginning, because the actual business plan was not exactly approved by FIRST, mainly because of the fear of the economic aspect. So the first time that I saw a first program was on a computer on Norway. So I had a very good friend, my mentor. He is responsible for the European programs for Norway. He lives in an amazing place and overlooking the sea. We were just drinking some wine and discussing about the future. And he told me, oh, I just got a sponsor for the first programs in Norway. So would you like to take a look at what we are up to now? And I was astonished. The main thing that caught my eyes first was not robotics. I'm gonna be very honest. So the first thing that I saw was young students, black and white and Chinese, all hanging together and being happy on an educational project. So that was the first thing that I saw. So happiness, young students from all over the world and doing something that was really impactful. The second thing was about robotics. I knew nothing about it. And then I started looking on the internet about robotics and what it is all about. And then I forgot it. So I went back to Greece and that was it. And after a few months, I remember the whole issue and I sent a message and I get the first no. So it was actually first answered that Greece is deep into crisis and we are not willing to get into a risky situation. And then it was all those friends and the community that we had that we wrote back and we said, during the crisis, you can find opportunities. And that almost turned everything 180 degrees, mainly because Lego Education got into the game together with First, and they said, okay, let's give it a try. And that was our pilot year.
Wow.
Yeah.
A very inspiring story indeed. The most surprising part of First for me is also the fact that all of those students from different backgrounds get the chance to cooperate together for a certain project. Just a comment for that. So really, you told us that the business plan, as it was deemed by First, non-viable. So, besides the temporary business plan too, how are we going to make it economically this year? How this first pilot year is gonna go? What was the greater vision?
Okay, the greater vision was that since no one knew anything about robotics, we didn't have much to do apart from making robotics known to everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. And that went through our volunteering project. So what we did first is that we had some volunteer instructors coming from Lego Education and First. And they were both really great because they wanted to share what they experienced all these years. And what happened next was that we also gathered the best of the best in order to become the first volunteers for the first programs. So we had teenagers and students in universities that they were really brilliant. So this first community of volunteers really changed the game. And then it was that we managed to get into the first competition. Students from state schools all over Greece, students from private schools, and then we also had the chance to get teams from orphanages, from Roma shelters, and also from places that normally students shouldn't go, and that was jail. So we also get students from juvenile prisons. So that community was the thing that really sparkled the first year. So the first year, we planned to have 12 teams, and we managed to have 33. So we had to get approval of the actual business plan, that it was a risk in the beginning, 3 times. So first was for 12, then we got, okay, let's go to 24, and then we said, okay, let's go to 33, and that was it, 33 teams for the pilot year.
Honestly, the most impressive part of the story was how the community responded with 33 teams. I can tell you from my experience, from what I have seen from FLL, it's not that easy to get them together.
You're right, it's not easy. Especially imagine trying to play football without knowing what football is, and also without ever having a football in your hands. So it was really impressive, and I can say that students really trusted us, and then it was the teachers and the parents. So everything in the first year, I think it was a matter of trust.
That with the football was an excellent, I would say, analogy. And I would like to get it a bit further. You know, for a game of football, it doesn't just need the player, it needs also the referees, I would say. So, how do you convince someone that has never even seen football in their lives to give them the confidence to become a referee or a volunteer at this event? How hard was it finding volunteers?
It's great to discuss with someone that really gets into the meaning of everything. So, great question again. As I told you, we gathered a great group of volunteers, and what we did is that we inspired everyone with the game, and then this big group was asked to choose. So those that they would like to work with kids, they went and became coaches. The others that they wanted to be on the organizing team, then they started organizing the games. And the last part was those that they had a previous experience with football or basketball or any other sports, and they really wanted to become volunteers on refereeing and as judges. Especially with the refereeing was very close to football or to any other sport. The judging session was hard, was tough. It was tough to find someone who wouldn't focus on if one team is right or wrong, but as you know, judges have to focus on only the good parts of a project. So being able to be very fair on the judging, but in the same time making students feel that they are really special, that they really did more than they could achieve. And that's the truth, okay? But the educational systems always have this grading that says, okay, you missed 1 point, you missed 2 points, so instead of getting 10, get 8. So what we do in First Lego League is that, oh, you did that great, so get those 5 points. And then you did this great, so get 3 points. And then you have an excellent total of 8. So, and you're very close to being perfect. And you need to work on 1 or 2 slight things, and you will be perfect very soon. So you see that it's a totally different perspective of how you see things.
Really? You had to change the way they viewed the whole grading system.
Exactly. That was the challenge, and that's why I'm so proud of this community that we have created since the very first year. And I will share with you a comment. It was like, no one really believed when we had the games, no one really believed that this actually happened in Greece. They told me that it's like doing a virtual trip to a European country or, in the future. So actually we were dealing with a robotics competition back in 2013, and it was out of anything that people would expect to happen in Greece.
Part of the disbelief that many of the witnesses during the first FLL in Greece felt, I believe, can be attributed to the lack of STEM industries in the Greek economy. That's actually a valid point. I mean, first is to promote STEM fields in further study. That's the whole thing, whole robotics thing. How did you believe such project would succeed in a country that doesn't really have that developed STEM industry?
Great question. One more time. It's, as I told you, the actual first business plan was too risky. And yes, there was a big gap on the industry. And also, it was not only that, it was also the missing part from the educational system. So when someone was on Google, and they were looking for robotics in Thessaloniki, robotics in Athens. There was only 1 or 2 outcomes. These days, you can find 1 or 2 billion outcomes with the same question. So you see that there was a gap. And also there was a gap in the educational system because no one knew about that. So those were the 2 aspects that they were missing. It wasn't only about the business, it was about the knowledge. The good thing was that first we built trust, and the second is that most of the students, most of the teachers tried to learn about it, and they really wanted to learn about it. And I would say that we also tried to do it in a way that it went in the educational system, but not as normally programs come in an educational system, which is top to bottom. So a minister or some advisors take a decision, and then this project come down until they reach the students. What we did is that we went with a procedure which is like bottom up. So first we inspired students. They liked the program, they were really passionate about it, and they talked to their teachers. The teachers discussed with parents, the community was there, and then the minister called us to say, what are you doing? What is that project? And then we started meeting people that they really take decisions, and that's made the whole circle. But it was a different one. Instead of going bottom up, up to bottom, we went from bottom up.
You mentioned that first brought a bunch of mud. In a way, it inflated the robotics knowledge in Greece. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And part of the knowledge needs to be applied somewhere in order to be useful. And while, in a way, Greece has developed, I believe, a whole lot in the educational part for STEM studies. In the economical part, in the economy, such as jobs, doesn't really seem to have moved that much. So with all that knowledge, students might be looking for somewhere else to apply their skills, that their skills are valued. So, do you believe that first, in a way, contributes to brain drain?
Okay, so your question is that you think that we create students that they are very well skilled,
yes,
and that's why they have to go out of the country.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. If you believe that it's all about one country or a neighborhood of countries, or what I believe is that we create global citizens, and every student, every kid should have a global way of thinking. First for environmental issues, then for economy, care about the others, and for everything. I think that what we need is to think not only as members of one community or one country or Europe, for example, but as global citizens. So with that sense, we need also to educate ourselves as global citizens, care for the global good, care for global peace, care for global economy. So when we speak about education, we cannot restrict it to only one country. Yes, each one of us has the blessing to be born in one country and get education there, but the basic education. After that, the level of how far you can get your education is innumerable. So in that sense, what we try to build is not overskilled students, but students that they are thirsty to learn more, thirsty to get upskilled, thirsty to work with others, to educate themselves every day, try to learn from everyone they meet and everywhere they go. So with that sense, I would say that yes, we try to educate students in a way that they get the most out of what they learn at school, and then use this knowledge in order to become useful global citizens. So in that way, I don't think that there are borders in education. So if you speak about brain drain, I would say that we have just brain that it gets full of new ideas, brain that it gets full of love and understanding for the others, brain that is ready to find someone that will get in love with and start working on a project like there is no tomorrow. And this project has only one option, to be a successful one. If you think that this goes then to medicine, people that they are passionate with what they are doing, with science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or anything else, they are determined to succeed. So what I see in the future is not, I would say, Greeks or Bulgarians or Americans or, I don't know, any other nation finding a solution for, I don't know, a disease, but global citizens that they find solutions in order to cure everyone. So, yes, if you think as a nation, we create students that they want to learn. If they go and study in the US or in Europe or in Asia, that's another thing. Trips right now are very easy, so you can travel everywhere. You can meet anyone and then you can work with them. So it's not about brain drain. It's about learning how to work with the others and care for the global good. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a more than sufficient answer, actually.
Okay.
It's this mindset that we are more than a country. We belong to the same planet. We all care for the greater good of humanity. That's a mindset of expansion. And speaking of expansion, now, I'm not saying that 3 years are too little, but a lot has been achieved through eduact. So, what was the one move that helped it expand so rapidly?
Okay. All your questions were great. This is also a great question, but I wouldn't say that things went rapidly. Things were very smooth. They were getting better and better every year. The numbers were never like they started 33, now it's almost more than 1,000. So if you can see, it's not 1 million, it's 1,000. So it's, I wouldn't say it's rapid, it's a nice way of having a progress. So we have a good progress. The things that gave this progress to the project and also to anything that eduact is doing, I would say that there were two. The one is that there is no owner of the project. Everyone owns the project. So it's not the founder, it's not the president, it's not the CEO or someone who owns first programs in Greece. It's that everyone that had at least once in a lifetime experience of being in a first project owns the project of first. And also being once a volunteer or a partner in eduact programs, then you own the programs. So what we created was not a well-known organization that owns projects, but we created a platform that everyone that comes with an idea then is able to implement this idea to the platform and then get people interested in that idea and then working together with them make this idea sparkle and change everything around it. So that's the way that we work, that there is no ownership of the organization or the projects. The second thing that I would say that really was a game changer was that we do everything with passion, vision, and quality. So there is no project that we do it just to do it. We do everything with a vision, then we put a lot of passion, and we try to do everything with the best quality that we can afford. It's not about showing off. All our competitions, as you have experienced, they're great. But it's not because we have a lot of money. It's because we want to honor every kid that spends at least an hour on a project and then comes to give this project to the community. So we have to honor. And the only way to honor them is high quality.
So it's all about honoring the community for one's ideas to make something better, to even the people participating in, honoring the work, honoring everything. Every year, the goal is honor more people, to give more people the opportunity. However, there was a point that the organization might have realized that we cannot scale vertically forever. FLL, as good as it is, it's not just FLL. It needs something more, another competition, maybe for other age groups. That might have been the inspiration for the FTC. And about how the business plan for FLL might have seemed unreasonable. I can't imagine that with the exponential growth in costs of FTC, how big of a risk it was.
Great question. It's not about the risk, and I would say that starting FTC in Greece, it was smoother than introducing FLL in Greece, and mainly because we already had the community, and the project went out of the community in a very smooth way. So in a way, when we were starting first Lego League in Greece, no one knew anything about robotics, as I told you. But starting FTC in Greece, it was like, we know how great robotics is, we know how great first programs are, and how about if we implement FTC in Greece? Yes, it's a bit more expensive, but what we have managed to do is that we cultivated the whole community in a way that they could, in a way, have a sponsorship community around them and then support the teams. So I would say that it wasn't easy, but it wasn't as hard as starting first Lego League. It was easier than starting, it was smoother than starting at first Lego League in Greece. And also the community, I would say in FTC right now, is even more supportive than the one of first Lego League. And it's not, they're both our kids, so it's never good to say one good thing for one of your kids and not about the other, or say this one is better than the other It's about we love both our kids. They are both great, and they are both having their own characteristics. And a characteristic of FTC in Greece is that the community is very supportive, is full of brilliant minds that they want to change the world, as we said. And I'm very positive that in the coming years, the kids, even if they go outside of Greece, if they study in Greece, this community of scientists that will turn out of this amazing program will definitely change the future of the world. And the second thing is that things change rapidly, as you said, mainly because science changed everything in a faster way than before. So history is written in fast forward. So we are here to experience this great thing, and I feel respect for all of you that you get out of this project, and I feel very positive that you are going to give us a better future.
Yeah, that's the belief for the generation, is to create a community. Everything is easier with a community if we all cooperate. The previous question, you compared the beginning of FTC with the beginning of FLL and how the community helped FTC to reach a certain point faster than FLL could. So, what will it take to for FTC to reach the same level as FLL?
Okay, what is a level after all?
I mean, the scale that is in Greece right now. FLL is a very big thing.
I think it's mainly because of the branding. It's a big thing because of the branding, and also because First Lego League has different categories in age. So we speak about a project that has 3 different age categories, and most of them they're growing in the same way. If we speak for Greece, young students want to do extracurricular activities more than the older students. So there is a drawback in FTC, mainly because it refers to teenagers, and teenagers, especially in Greece, they focus on the Pan-Hellenic exams. So this makes them focus mainly on projects. Mainly on the school, and studying for the school and leaving out the extracurricular activities. So we refer to a certain category of students that they are interested in extracurricular activities. And speaking of that, I think that FTC is a great opportunity for students that they look for something great to focus on that.
Right. No.
So it will not take long to raise the numbers, but we need time, and we need successes, and we need the community to help more students to get the most out of the project.
Exactly. The community needs to help with the growth of the project. And speaking of categories, that it's an ever, let us say, growing ladder. It starts with the FLL Explorer, then the Discover, then the Challenge, the, I would say, most popular category of the FLL, and then it goes to FTC. But there is a next step, and that next step also happened to take its first steps in Greece, pun not intended, recently. So what do you believe about pioneers, the Greek FTC team, FRC team?
Okay, that's another amazing question. First of all, just for you to know, the most um, successful in numbers project is not a challenge.
Ooh,
Yes,
really?
it's not the challenge. It's both explore and discover. They are great, but explore is the biggest numbers. So, and I would say that it's 8 or 10 times more than challenge. So explore is 6 times more than challenge, and discover is also very big in numbers. Almost, yeah, double in numbers from challenge. So that's how we have more than 1,000 teams in Greece.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yes,
Shame,
that's
and shame on me. I declared as a volunteer on the FLL Explore.
it's a knowledge is a never-ending story. So you learn something. So about FTC, then the numbers are growing and the community is growing, and for pioneers, we are very proud of them because they have started as pure first boys and girls. They wanted something more. Then they went to FTC. They did it the best way, the most, I would say, inspiring way concerning the quality of their project and the way that they made their robots. Most of them, they were also participating in First Global Team Greece. So they were members of the National Robotics team. And then they were so much inspired that they were looking even bigger. And they didn't stop in who is going to help me? Who is going to do that for me? They did everything for them. So they were not stopped because someone couldn't help them. They became the mentors of themselves. They became the ones that they needed the most. And we are so proud of them because they didn't even stop there. They started the project. They discovered everything themselves. They built an excellent team, and now they're building an excellent community. So the FRC community now in Greece is mainly made out of them. And I'm looking also on social media because I think those days they are participating in a competition in Turkey.
Yeah.
Am I right? So yeah, we are so proud of you guys. And Geras, you're doing a great job. Well done.
And we talk about first being a ladder, but no, it's more than just robotics. After all, eduact is not the organization for robotics, it's the organization for education. So recently there has been work in providing something more than robotics program. In what areas of education do you believe to be the next expansion?
Yes. That's why you told me that you have a very difficult question for the end. Okay. Um, what is okay? Now I have to be a futurist, and I'm not one. I have a very good friend who is a futurist, Dimitris Dimitriadis. I'm reading his book. I'm also studying everything that he is saying, but I'm not a futurist myself. I would say AI, but it's very classic to say. The good thing with eduact is that, as I told you, we are a platform, so we are open to any ideas that will jump in. And the thing is that right now the big thing is AI, computational thinking. Lego Education has made a very big step on that, and the new competition of first Lego League that will start even from the next year, the well-known Flora. they are mainly using AI and computational thinking. So I think those two things are going to be the new project that we will run. But among those new ideas, something that stands out are the skills. So as an organization, we are working very much on those soft skills, as they are called. So I believe that soft skills is also going to be the next step for the future, and mainly how you can survive in education while so many new things are coming out. AI is going to change the whole game, and if you are ready to adjust, if you are ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn every day, because something will change because of AI every day, then I think you are in the right path. So if you keep something for the future, I think the ability of unlearn and relearn as soon as you are asked to do it.
Yeah. Honestly, that whole unlearning thing is so counterintuitive because you gain knowledge, you gain knowledge, you gain knowledge, but
And then you have to forget it.
Yeah.
Because something tells you that, you did it all this time, you did it wrong. So you have to do it in another way. After all, that's science.
Yeah, exactly. Out with the new, out with the old, in with the new.
Yes. And in that case, you have to keep your ego down, because the more you learn, the less ego you have, because you realize that, yes, of course, yesterday you were saying something that is towards that direction, but tomorrow you find out that you have to move. And then if you keep your ego and you go that direction, you will keep on going wrong. But if you say, okay, I was wrong, or I was thinking in a different way, so now I'm brave enough to change my mind and go to the next direction. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And now for the actual last question.
All right.
No, you thought the last one was. No, this one is.
So this is even more difficult. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's just say that a kid looked at your work, looked at what you have built, and said, I want to continue where you left off. What advice would you give them?
You mean in this organization?
Yeah. Or more specifically, continue of the impact. It's not about just the organization.
Okay, great. All right. You said that it's a difficult one, but it's a hard. Yes. First of all, another thing that you might not know is that when we were starting, we were ignorant of all the difficulties that we were going to face. And in fact, we never focused on the difficulties. We never focused on if something wrong happens, what will happen next. We were never thinking about something going wrong. And I think that thing saved us for being afraid of the future. So one thing that I would say to that kid is that never be afraid of what is coming. Be brave, be ready for anything that will occur, learn every day, make friends, have a backup, get yourself strong every day with knowledge, and then you will be ready to face anything that will occur. If you speak about the impact, as I told you before, the whole organization, the whole project is based on a common ownership. So that means that we don't ask you and the rest to continue the impact. but we depend on you if you want, and everyone that wants, to offer with all their efforts, exactly as you do right now with that amazing work that you are doing in order to help the community. So we depend on you and your effort on how we are going to grow this impact. Because after all, it's not what we do, it's what we all do that will change the world. So thank you. I'm very honored that I was a part of this conversation. We spent a very good time together.
Yeah.
And also, I'm very proud of this community that you, the young boys and girls in the organization, in the first community, are building, because you have already started having a bigger and better impact of what we have started doing. So you are getting ahead and you are doing the best you can. And thank you for that.
Well, my pleasure, of course. And that was it. That was the reason I started actually the podcast, that last question. I thought, well, my time as a student is soon ending. These might be the last years before I have to go into that deep focus for the Pan-Hellenic exams. So I wanted to give back in some way, to give them an open invitation to build to what I left off. Exactly what eduact does. And
thank you. It's very promising. And it's not the end of the game. It's the beginning of the game, because you have just started giving back. You have so many things to offer, and the community really is looking forward to get the most that you can give. So, well done.
that was about it.
Thank you.
My pleasure, of course. So, farewell.
Okay.